Live from Shadaloo City, it's the 10 Point Podcast. My name is Bruce, and all I want to do is create the perfect podcast. Not for power, not for evil, but for good. The Street Fighter review will be the 64th of many, and they shall march out on YouTube and all podcast platforms and sweep away every adversary, every creed, every other podcast until the very planet is in the loving grip of the 10 Point Podcast. Then peace will reign in the world, and all humanity shall bow to me, us, in humble gratitude.
I should probably say what I did there. I tried to do the Bison thing, but it looked a bit worse than it was meant to. So let's ignore that.
Well, I mean, there's
That's better. Yeah, let's go for that.
With me today, in the planning of 10 Point Podopolis, first, I know he likes to look at himself on television, the sick son of a bitch, it's Chris. I feel like you're the one that least likes to do that, so I'll give it to you. And secondly, he beheld Satan as he fell from heaven like lightning. It's Andy.
Yeah, I got a good one this time. Taking that.
There wasn't too much in the way of insults thrown around in this film, which I thought there would be for a fighting game. We are the 10 Point Podcast. In amongst all our planning of world domination, we record podcasts and reviews on films. You can find us wherever you get podcasts, every single podcast app, from Stitcher to Apple to Amazon to Spotify, everywhere you get podcasts you can find us. And you can find us on YouTube, 10 Point Podcast on YouTube, usually in video form. We're trying to work our way through it, finding a better system for recording the video, and hopefully we've landed on it for the time being at least.
Until Chris updates to something and talks to us again.
Get in touch with us on our social medias, Facebook and Twitter, just 10 Point Podcast on those, all the letters, no numbers, 10 Point Podcast, and 10pointpodcast.com has everything you need up there, links to everything, and also where you can donate and send us stuff and all that. I feel like we've not had the old the tray out looking for cash in a while. So
no, we need cash.
Any sponsors, anybody want to drop us anything, contact us there, and also there's a donate button on 10 Point Podcast.
Do anything for money.
Exactly, yes. We will review anything for money, let's say that. And this is a big episode. At the end of the episode, all of our listeners, all their picks have gone into they're not a wheel, aren't they? Like a wheel of fortune.
They're on a magical wheel. It's going to be amazing.
And we'll decide. So get your picks in on all the social medias, etc., for what you want to do next. And if you know us personally, you can tell us on the street, because Chris has been going door to door getting view suggestions. So, let us know however you can. Before we get on to the point of the episode, what have we been watching in the last week? Andy, why don't we start with you this week? I feel like you normally go last.
Well, I'll tell you what. I peaked from Free Guy last week, and I've not actually watched any film since then because I don't want to ruin the taste of Free Guy.
He's completing movies. He doesn't want to watch anything else.
Yeah. He's found the best to get.
It's a peaked. I don't think there's any better movie out there. It is done. So I can't watch anything else.
It'd be out of character, but I thought you might have seen it again. That was all. I thought maybe go see it again.
I don't want to do that either because it'll bring the score down. It was I don't know if fans have probably read the website already, but it's Chantel's first 10 out of 10 movie.
I saw that. It was
on the website.
The perfect review on the 10 Point Podcast. Yeah, so I did see that. So yeah, nothing from Andy. Anything interesting filling the time, Andy? Nope. No, nothing at all.
No, I've just been watching like more ghost stories and shit.
Right. Chris, what about you?
I've picked up from Andrew's lack of films. I watched the new Space Jam film. It's not quite as bad as what Andy was saying. Like, it doesn't ruin your childhood, but it's definitely nowhere near as good as the original Space Jam.
Definitely not. No. I did enjoy it. Like, I thought it's enough nostalgia, and plus I quite like the good bits in it. I liked him getting
I want
together.
Bill Murray.
Yeah, he was.
There wasn't enough Bugs Bunny. It seemed to all be about LeBron James. There was not enough of the two. And Daffy Duck hardly used at all.
Well, he was the coach this time, wasn't he? Yeah, it's still.
He did nothing.
Yeah, I feel like the Bugs Bunny problem is that it's a different guy being Bugs Bunny now. That was the problem for me. Like it sounds different to what Bugs Bunny sounds, but that's obviously going to happen when you bring it out 25 years later or whatever it is. 15 years later.
I also watched Army of the Dead. Again, I don't think it's as bad as what everybody says.
I've seen a Dead Pixel.
I didn't see the Dead Pixel. I saw it. It was really bloody, but of course it didn't distract me too much from the film. I did like the idea of a little spoiler here, folks. Smart zombies and like organized zombies. I thought it was quite a cool idea. They're normally just wandering dumbasses, but That's quite a cool idea.
I feel like it was just epically long for no reason, that film. I just thought it'd take an hour out of it, but then it's Zack
And I
Snyder.
can't believe they've already filmed the prequel. That's mental.
Have they?
Yeah. It's all about the safecracker dude.
Right, okay. Might be better in some ways.
And sorry, finally, because Andy claimed it was better than Jaws, I watched Meg.
Right, yeah.
Well,
I know, right? It's been a busy week for me for a change. I'm gonna get straight to the point. It's nowhere near as good as Jaws.
Right.
oh, fuck you, Chris. You're wrong.
There was
Jason Statham and a big fucking shark.
people who only watch and listen to us won't know of the massive coincidence relating to these two films, Andy, will they? That you alerted us to after we did the Jaws episode, which
What was
was
that?
you went to see the Meg the exact day or something like that. We
Oh,
recorded.
yeah. Just like 3 years ago for the recording day. I actually went and watched the Meg.
It was totally completely unplanned. I guess it's the summer, isn't it? So that might have been what it was.
Yeah. So that's my 3 films that I watched this week.
I managed to sneak in just the one, a film that I've never seen before, that I've heard a lot about and always wanted to see, and I actually bought it on Blu-ray the last time I was when I was able to go to a shopping centre. I went to HMV and I'll get a cheap Blu-ray. It was Escape from New York, the Kurt Russell
film.
kind of John Carpenter, I say action film, essentially a B movie from the early 80s.
Yes.
And I was like, this film is meant to be great. It's culturally massive. I know the name Snake Plissken. I was like, why is this film never on? 10 minutes into the film, some hijackers crash a plane into Manhattan, and then about 2 minutes later, he then flies a plane on top of the World Trade Center. And I'm like, okay, this totally explains why this film is not broadcast or available anywhere anymore. I liked it. I feel like it's definitely one to watch more often. I think it's one to kind of, the more you watch, the more you like the bits in it. It's got high points throughout, which would be quite good for the podcast now I think about it. But I was not blown away by it just yet. But I think if I watched it again a couple more times, I might get into it a bit more. But
There's some banging practical effects in for a B movie, though.
I've never seen it. Is it to do with like Metal Gear Solid, Snake Plissken?
No, that's where they took the name from.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But no, essentially, was it the hijackers hijack Air Force One, crash it into Manhattan, but the president was on the plane and manages to escape, and then Manhattan at this point is a prison. The entire island is a prison. So the Snake Plissken is the world's most dangerous man. They send him out into the prison to go rescue the president, and that's the film there. But yeah, it's 1981, essentially a B movie, but pretty good. I would give it a watch for cultural significance, if nothing else.
Okay.
And that'll do us. We better get on with things then. On to the reason for the podcast. Point number 1. What's the point? The reason this week. The 1994 action-adventure comedy thriller Street Fighter. That's partly what it is.
Definitely added comedy afterwards. Don't think it was ever the intention.
Yeah, and I would say I guess that covers it. It was like fighting movie. I don't know if it is really, but it's based on Street Fighter 2: The World Warrior, the fighting video game made by Capcom, initially made for arcades in 1991, later released in your, home video or home video game consoles. Film brought to us by Columbia Pictures and Capcom. Capcom haven't made any films we've done before, but Columbia have been behind Leon, 21 Jump Street, Triple X, Grimsby, City Slickers, and Idle Hands. So we have seen a lot from Columbia.
What a collection.
That's up and down there.
The film, although based on a video game, was written and directed by Stephen E. D'Souza. We've also covered him a couple of times. His high credits on his filmography were writing 48 Hours, Commando, The Running Man, Die Hard 1 and 2, The Flintstones, and then after Street Fighter, which comes around there, Judge Dredd and Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, which I think is the second one. So he wrote all those movies, very high points, but this was the first ever theatrically released film that he directed. He only directed about 6 or 7 films, and this was the first one to come out in cinemas and was possibly the biggest and best one that he did. Mainly a writer of films, and I'm sure Andy, with his massive trivia knowledge, will probably get into maybe why he directed it. I feel like there was probably some production issues at some point or another. We'll get into that a bit later on. The film stars Jean-Claude Van Damme, famous for Bloodsport, Kickboxer, Double Impact, and Universal Soldier, before making Street Fighter, and since then, Double Team about a year later. And then the next thing that he was known for was JCVD. This is a film that came out. 20 years after all these other credits, and Andy seems to have heard of it. Why don't you explain what it is, Andy?
It's a Amazon TV series.
Where he plays
and it's
himself.
Yeah, it's like a mockumentary.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Well, there you go.
I feel like I've heard of that before. I've never actually watched it.
It was one of Amazon's kind of first big exclusive film series things that they got. When Amazon started going heavily into doing like exclusive when Netflix were doing it. It's probably about 4 years old now, I think it is, but it's funny. If you like Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's worth a watch.
He plays himself, but like dialed up to 11, doesn't he?
Yes,
pretty much.
Big time.
He's involved with is it like stopping a bank robbery or something like that? I don't know. That's kind of what the brief synopsis I read said about it. Co-starring with Jean-Claude Van Damme is Raul. I think it's Julia, but Raul Julia, if you prefer. Famous for Presumed Innocent, The Addams Family, Addams Family Values, and Street Fighter. They're his big credits because unfortunately he died before Street Fighter even came out. So they were kind of the peak of his career essentially was doing the two Addams Family films, then Street Fighter, and then a film that came out after his death that I have now forgotten because I didn't write it down. He actually won Golden Globes for and stuff, which was the one more film after this that came out after he died. So he had a very successful end to his career, but he had a years-long battle. I think it was stomach cancer that kind of finally wore him down through 1994. Yeah. Back on to Street Fighter though, made on a budget of $35 million. Opened in the US the first weekend, $7 million. Final US gross, just $33.5 million. Didn't quite make its budget back, but worldwide, $99.5 million. So it did almost triple its money around the world in terms of ticket sales. I'm not sure, 100 million, is that big in 1994? I'm not sure if that's...
I'd say so.
Right, okay, so I'm surprised.
Now. I'll take it.
There you go, exactly, yeah. But I think a movie nowadays would be a bomb if it didn't make 100 million and it was... probably released cinema-wise. Released 23rd of December 1994. This is a Christmas movie. Or it's a Christmas-type movie.
Oh, first fun fact.
Oh, here we go.
It was released on that date because it's actually Guile's birthday. And Guile's actually Jean-Claude Van Damme in this film.
Yes.
So there you go.
It was
fun fact.
There we go. I was not aware of that one. Thank you. The film was eligible for the 95 award season. Was only nominated for 2 awards, and they were both at the 1995 Saturn Awards, which is like the Academy.
I thought it would be an Oscar.
No, unfortunately not. The Academy of Science Fiction and something or other movies, but they're called the Saturn Awards. Nominated for Best Science Fiction Film, but lost to Stargate, which I thought might get a reaction.
Okay.
And the other nomination, Best Supporting Actor for Raul Julia, lost to Gary Sinise for Forrest Gump. For being Lieutenant Dan, that we call him.
Rob.
Which,
I don't know why when you said that I had Gary Busey in my head and I was like, that's a travesty, but then I was like, no, that's not him.
No, different guy altogether. So yeah, that's it. There was no Razzies, no terrible film awards. It was just literally just those ones. So it was not panned on release like some films we've done in the past have been. I've got a brief synopsis here from a new contributor. M-Phoenix, I'm not sure it's his real name, but that's what he's written this review under. And it goes as follows. I'll never read this, I haven't read it again, so I don't know what's coming up here. Colonel Guile leads an army of soldiers into the country of Shadaloo to find traces to lead him to General M. Bison, who has captured many people, including 3 missing soldiers. Among them is Carlos Charlie Blanca, in which Bison decides to turn into a hideous mutant. On the other hand, Chun-Li is a reporter who seeks revenge against Bison for the death of her father years ago. Then, 2 small-time hustlers, Ryu and Ken, are arrested along with Sagat, a powerful arms dealer, and Vega for dealing of illegal weapons. Guile recruits them in order to find Bison's base. Now, Guile, T-Hawk, Kami, Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Balrog, and E-Honda have 3 days before Bison murders the hostages and takes over the world. All the characters essentially name-checked there. I'm not sure if it explains what's going on. That's what it's about. Andy, you selected it, wasn't it? It was a quick reasoning for why you did it outside of your theme, obviously, because we know you've got a theme.
Oh yeah, it's part of the ultimate theme, which is actually a theme this time. There can be no mourning, but right. Yes, this film it's me personified in movies.
Right.
It's got everything. It's got it all. It's got highs, it's got some terrible lows, it's got some amazing effects, it's got some shit effects, it's got it all. Right. You never know what you're going to get from scene to scene in this film.
That is true. I personally had never seen it. I was aware of its existence, but I knew of the games, but yeah, I'd never seen it. What about you, Chris?
I'd only ever seen it from like my normal bit halfway through the film, as they got to Bison's little lair bit is where I seen it from.
Channel 4, 11 o'clock movie? Maybe this one?
That sounds right.
Could be, yeah.
That's kind of how I feel. It's like, yeah.
I've definitely seen this early doors though, because I remember playing like Street Fighter 2 on the NES.
Right, yeah.
So I was all over this.
You were in the Street Fighter culture back in the 90s.
Definitely seen this before Mortal Kombat, which we all know is a banging film.
Which has been reviewed in the past. It did not score very highly, if I remember. I might have a quick look through the recording to see if I can compare and contrast against the review. On to point 2 then. The high points. What we thought the best bits and things of the film were. Andy, you picked it. Why don't you start with your high points?
Right. Always comes up, and you know I'm a fan of them. But sets. Like, this film has some amazing sets. And some fun facts for you. They basically had to rebuild half the sets because they shut down production, which was an ongoing fiasco anyway. But they had to move everything from Taiwan, I think it was, because there was some war. Right. And then basically everybody was contracted. They all finished anyway. And then when they were cutting the film together, they realised it was quite shit. So they had to rebuild most of the sets in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
So that's quite a feat, considering rebuilding sets and getting actors back. So
yeah. And I think the bit in the boats on the river, that quite clearly looked like it was over in Asia. So I think that
was over there. But that scene was meant to be planes and helicopters, but they weren't allowed because there was a civil war going on at the time.
I remember reading that.
Change it to a boat, and that's why the stealth boat, looks a little bit shit and made of cardboard and wood.
It does, definitely.
Because they had to knock it together in like a couple of days.
I wouldn't be surprised if they used part of a jet plane, because it looked very much like it was a plane, and it was like, well, let's just make it a boat instead. Yeah.
But it's also why they have the weird helmets, because they were fighter pilot helmets.
That makes no sense. That's like, you never talk about that, but like, let's go stealth mode. Okay, put the visor down. Okay, we're in stealth mode. Put the visor back up. What did it do?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to mention the boat at some point.
Sets. But especially Bison's lair, like that whole thing, his chair, everything, just amazing.
To me, it jumped out. I've got it as one of my things later on, but it looks like, especially from the timeline, it looks like a direct sort of influence on like Dr. Evil's lair from the Austin Powers movies, because I feel like it's like full on henchmen everywhere. He's got this floating thing, like Dr. Evil has his daft chair he deals with, and I'm like, yeah, this is what a villain is supposed to look like in one of these kind of movies. But yeah, I did enjoy that too. Any other early high points?
Nope. No, that's it.
All right, Chris. I was waiting for Andrew. I thought I had another one. I've got one. That fucking muckle knot that Jean-Claude Van Damme sported throughout the movie in his forehead. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. It was massive.
I don't think I noticed it. I think I was I think I rolled anytime he started speaking, so I never actually.
Oh yeah, but like as soon as he walked in, he just turned around, just have a lump like that. It looks like he's been like in a fight literally before filming.
I may as well drop another fun fact. That could be something to do with his 10 grams worth of cocaine he would do a week on set.
Right.
He was off his tits in this film, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it doesn't come through in his performance, though. It's not like he's
no,
not
because
high, is it?
It's because they kept cutting away, and apparently all the way through the production, they had to keep changing his scenes. And then they put Kylie Minogue closer to him, and he ended up having an affair with her, and then she was doing coke as well with him.
Allegedly, I don't know for.
I think they have.
Right. I see. Okay. Yeah, I feel like it doesn't like bring him out in a whole bunch of it. It's not like he's I'm so full of energy. He feels like he's struggling.
Oh, it's like the opposite. Actually, it's just I got the feeling he just couldn't be bothered. He was just going through the motions half the time.
So this is your first high point, is that Jean-Claude Van Damme has a lump on his head.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
Well,
massive, like he's just been in a fight.
What's a high point? That's going to be the best high point I've ever heard. That's amazing.
Every time he came on, I just kept looking at that fucking knot, and I just didn't listen to a word he said.
Out of the film, the lump on Jean-Claude Van Damme.
The best actor award there. Well, first actual high point is the lorry with explosives is rolling towards the tent. And Zangief's looking at the channel, looking at that, and goes, "Quick, change the channel!" I love myself on that. Yeah.
Well, since you mentioned it, that's in my low points for being just a terrible plan, but also I don't understand how it works. because right, okay, first of all, who's filming them? Someone has to set up a video camera, filming them doing this little speech. Someone's put like music behind it. It's post-production on this video because as she's talking, there's this sort of background tune playing on the video, and it's playing in this little cupboard that they've got set up. And the whole thing, I thought I had to look back. I thought that the camera also changed the angles if it's like a 2-camera setup, but it doesn't. In the film, you see what he's doing in the car. But the whole terrible, and it's a big. Like, why bother recording this video to be like, we're over in the field behind where you are. We're about to push a van. Just push the van. Like, why?
Because then you would have got that awesome Zangief line that's Chris's high point.
I just thought it was like, it came out of nowhere. It goes, quick, change your channel. And I was fucking pissed myself.
Zangief's an unsung hero throughout this film.
He is, yes.
He has a very good showing. I was happy at the end when he does, like, essentially join. Oh, it didn't take much for the good guy team to be like, oh, he's with us now. Don't bother like handcuffing him and shackling him off. He's a good guy now. He held the door open. But yeah, I was happy to see him turn to the light side at the end of the film. I thought he had a very good showing. As in fact, what was it? The you were getting paid line towards the end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the original. What's that from? Meet the Millers. You were getting paid too.
Yeah.
But yeah, good showing by Zangief. My first high point is pretty much literally what I read out at the beginning of the film. M. Bison's big speech. When he finds out, it's when he first finds out that Guile has been killed, like fake killed, as it were. His big speech and his little model of Bisonopoulos in front of him and all that. It's a really good scene, and that's when old Raul Julia became like, I want to see every scene he's in now, and then that's when I've got the high of him, and then the low every time that Jean-Claude Van Damme shows up throughout the rest of the film. But yeah, that was my first. I was like, oh, there's something quite good to this film. Up to that point, I was like, kind of not much of an idea what's going on. The film is equally giving me a lot of information, and none of it seems to be making sense.
Yes.
Like, okay. He wants world domination, essentially.
Yeah, my kind of high point that kind of goes on from that is, like, liking the games, every single character is well represented, except from Guile, who, to be fair, I didn't like in the games anyway. He was always the shit character. And yeah, it's the same thing. Everybody else is amazing, and especially Bison. Everybody always remembers Bison.
Oh yeah.
My only flaw is Honda is he's Samoan in this, but he's actually Japanese in the game.
Yeah, I had to look at that.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure myself, but yeah.
And again, it annoyed me through the film because I had to do some research. I had no idea there was a character called Kami, T-Hawk, DJ, and there was another one. I thought they were just made for the film. It just pissed me off because that's why I refused to watch it.
They're all in the game.
Must have came out after or something, or just before this game.
They're all in spin-offs and stuff like that. But the one big thing that Capcom wanted for this was to get all of their characters in. And at the time, I think they were up to about 34 characters. But the director just basically said, no, people can remember 6 characters. That's all you need. Right. So even then, he still had to sneak a lot more in.
Yeah, because there are real bit parts that have like a name attached to them when the film's on, which I'm assuming for fans is amazing. It's like, oh yeah, that's him, and that kind of makes sense. That's her, and that kind of makes sense.
I was I used to be looking forward to Dalsum though with his stretchy arms, but he was just some weird doctor in this one. It was a disappointment.
He's going to have stretchy arms. He can see him. He's at the end. He lost his hair and everything. He was the most annoying character to play against, though. Stretch halfway across the screen and kill you.
Yeah, that's true. I better Honda, but I'll discuss that later. My next high point is Captain Sawada. Right. Anytime he spoke, he made me laugh. He had the worst dubbed voice ever.
Yeah.
And if that is his real voice, then I apologize to the guy, Captain Sawada. But it was just really badly dubbed. And then he started speaking Japanese, or Chinese, I'm not sure. And then it was fine, because it was actually him doing it. But it made me laugh. It was just, every time he spoke, it was like, who's the madman to do this kind of thing.
It was also, he often came off the back of Van Damme, who either in person or also with after the fact ADS stuff was also really bad as well. So it's like always the 1-2 punch of the two of them being really horrendous. There was a couple of times where it cut to Chun-Li and Ming-Na Wen, she was not saying the words that she was saying. Yeah. One of them was actually the tent pushing car thing.
Yeah.
There's a bit
it's because they added lines to make it better. afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a few of them, but yeah, your man, he was the standout for someone in a cupboard speaking for.
It did make me laugh though, so that's why I put it as a high point.
Immediately before the old exploding van, I've got my next high point, which was the actual magic act itself.
Blow your mind.
It's a really good act. I thought it's tremendous. I still have no idea. Like, obviously, I know how, but how they could physically get her out of the barrel and up at the top of the tent in front of everybody. But yeah, I thought they did really well.
I've got this like a bit later on, but the forced. Oh look, it's Capcom lid, and I'll just keep showing it to the camera. Then I'll put it down so you can see that it's a Capcom lid.
Product placement of the highest order there, yeah. But I thought the actual, the magic act, I thought it was a bit of a jump because I feel like the previous scene, I can't remember what happens directly before it, but like the three of them are like, oh, we're our little team of heroes, and something scuppers their plan, or we need to come, and then literally it cuts, and it's the three of them standing performing magic, and I'm like, quite a strange kind of transition from one scene to another, but yeah, I enjoyed their act. That was my next high point.
My other high point is, it's a hard one because I have to kind of half it because there's part of it is going to be in a low point. But is the actual story for a fighting game is pretty good. Oh, the whole kind of good versus evil type thing. Like, but I don't like Guile at all. I hate his story, and I feel like you could have just took him out and had it like Ken, Ryu, and Sagat, and then they get called in to kind of help try and find where Bison is. Because I enjoyed their story. I did enjoy the Sagat, Ryu, and Ken story.
I just think it's bad because of Jean-Claude Van Damme. I think somebody else as Guile would have been 10 times better.
I literally have
an all-American.
Yeah, the exact same thing I've written down is that there's essentially 4 quarters to the film. You've got Bison, Chun-Li and her team, Ken and Ryu, and Guile. They're the 4, and no Kylie Minogue can even help what Jean-Claude Van Damme is doing in his little bit. Even Simon Cowell comes in and just camps up to like 120 out of 100. And that's to take. I mean, like say, take that chunk out. I'd much rather see Chun-Li and her undercover thing, and the 2 guys with their scams trying to get in Bison. You could have the background of a war, but just not have to. Like these guys aren't. They're operating with the armed forces. They're trying to do their spy shit. I guess it would be to try and.
It's how I've always thought this film should be. But another fun fact for you: this actually was meant to be a tournament film, like Mortal Kombat. Before Mortal Kombat was even thought about, it was still just being put into production. Capcom were like, "We want a tournament-style film," and the director basically went, "Nobody's going to watch that. It'll be shit." And then Mortal Kombat came out exactly 1 year later and did a tournament-style film.
Yeah,
so I didn't realize there was like a backstory. Do you know, like Mortal Kombat now has a backstory?
Yeah,
like all the Sub-Zero and all that. I didn't realize there was a whole story to Street Fighter. I thought it was just a tournament.
It's because it never comes across in an arcade. You have to read that scrolling bit before you put your coins in. It tells you the backstory as it scrolls up.
Chris, do you got a high point?
I do. Bison ripping the piss out of Sagat. I didn't see that, did you?
Chris has had all disabilities now. People that can't talk, people that can't see.
Bison, I thought he's fucking brilliant. Him just in general is a highlight reel of high points.
He is my final high point. Capital letters is M. Bison. Like everything he does, but specifically before I get to him as a whole, the scene in his quarters, another Dr. Evil style scene where we've captured the woman, take her away to my quarters and dress her up in an outfit. That always seems to be a thing. Dress her up in an outfit. And then every bit of them in his quarters with her being all done up and all that, which is always funny. Him getting changed behind the thing and then his hat rack with like another 10 slightly different hats on. It changes from his business hat to his relaxing hat. It's amazing. The sweet jacket that he's on, his smoking jacket, is amazing. And then him just making a drink while she's talking about his people coming and just destroying her village and all that. And then just even at the bit at the end where he's behind the perspex thing and everyone's getting gassed to death. And he's like, that's not happening.
Maniacal.
It's an amazing scene. Her doing the flying kick over everything as well looks a bit humorous, but again, it's a bit of action in it as well. And although her annoying people coming in, as she was getting the upper hand, Lee, distracting her so he could get away was annoying. But yeah, that whole scene is amazing, and it is made purely. I suppose the 2 of them. Ming-Na Wen's doing something; she has to talk for the entire time. But yeah,
what would have made that so much better is if she did her like a hunter kick thing. The game, the really fast thing. I thought that's what she was gearing towards, but
I'm sure she would do once she got back out. If she hadn't been distracted, she'd have done that. I reckon. But that's my specific M. Bison. But him as a whole, yeah, amazing. He absolutely steals the show. I feel like maybe 1 in 5 films we do, someone just steals the film from me, and M. Bison does it in this one.
Yeah, I've got to agree. That's kind of one of my final high points. Just the whole ending thing and that as well.
The end fights are really good. Yeah.
It's a proper action film where it just keeps going.
Yeah. It's not really a high point, but did anybody else hear a Goofy laugh at some point?
Yep. That is in the notes. It's the first film to ever have a Goofy laugh outside of a Disney production.
Did you not hear it? One of the henchmen got blown up, and as he got blown up, he did the Goofy laugh.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think I do. It jumps out at me.
And my last point is Godzilla sound effects for the big fight.
2 thumbs up from me. Yeah. I felt myself wanting the fights to happen. Like I want to see, I want to see him and him fight. Or I want to see them fight all the way through. So when it gets to the end and you have got, I don't know, 5 separate fights happening with the main characters and not just beating up henchmen, I thought I was properly excited by what was going on. So yeah, it's a good payoff at the end once everyone starts fighting.
It's just a shame it had to be Jean-Claude Van Damme.
We want the low points then. Point 3 on the podcast. What we thought?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. Well, he was my final one in all capital letters as well. Was Jean-Claude Van Damme? Absolutely, in more ways than one, I'm sure. Andy tries to derail this film.
It's just unbelievable. Like anybody else, like it's weird because he was obviously pitched to be Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat, but turned it down to do this film. Now, I like both of these films, but I feel like he needs to be in this film because if he was Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat, it would have been awful.
Yep.
But I mean, Johnny Cage didn't exactly like make that film. Well, I'm not saying he was.
No, the guy that played Johnny Cage played it perfectly.
He's pretty good in this film. The campiness works. I don't think it was ever their intention, but it turns out that it kind of works. So I feel like he was best placed, but he's still the worst person in this film.
Yeah.
There isn't a worse actor. Every other character from the game is amazing. He's shit.
The guy who plays Ken is not great, but is fine in the context of the film because Jean-Claude Van Damme is doing whatever it is he's doing over there.
Yep.
And even Kylie, I think like Kylie Minogue's all right in this film, but I feel like she's just stuck with acting opposite this plank of wood. She's got this Belgian plank of wood in front of her. She's got
I did read that everybody loved her. And Raoul Julia, and they're all a bit fucked off of Jean-Claude Van Damme because she like took everybody out for drinks and stuff.
All right, okay. Would she be a superstar?
That's because she was getting free coke.
Would she be
she was like trying to get them all started. It's like a big coke seal thing.
Yeah,
she'd be massive.
Yeah, so she got the job because the director was flying to Taiwan, I think it was, to film, and he got told that he had to have an Australian in it from the Australian Actors Guild. And she was on the cover of Vanity Fair, apparently, and just went, yeah, she'll do. That's how she got the job.
Fair enough.
And then they flew her straight out the next week, and then that's when she started filming.
To be fair, I forgot she was in Neighbours, so she can't actually act.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought she was a singer.
Yeah. Right, what have I got? Outside of Jean-Claude Van Damme, what low points have we got? My first one is just at the very beginning of the film. Ming-Na Wen reports the news like she's a ring announcer. She's like, and I'm here in Shadaloo City. And she just started like this weird intonation to her voice, which is this entire news report talking about M. Bison as if he's like this wrestling superstar and all that. But yeah, her very, I don't know, loud and grating news report.
I was not listening to what she was saying.
Yeah, I was not going to transcribe that for the opening, but yeah, she did a lot of talking. That's my first low point, just because it really jumped out at me.
It's not really a big one, but you know when Sagat saying, I found your weapons and here's your weapons here, and then they shoot them as tennis balls, and the dumbass henchman gets surprised when he shoots somebody and a tennis ball jumps out, like pops out of it. He's literally just been told that he's full of tennis balls. It just pissed me off.
Yeah, everyone in that room is fully aware of what these are, and he's like, oh, maybe this time it'll be a bullet. It's a massive, like, it's not like a bullet's going to come out of anyway. It's like a tennis ball sized, I don't know, barrel to it. Of course it's not going to be a bullet that comes out. Oh, and if it's like a grenade, don't shoot with point blank range.
Right, my only major like low point in this film, and every time I watch it, I just cringe every single time. Is it's a great scene, but where it goes and where it finishes is awful. And it's when Ming-Na Wen's being a cat burglar and she's trying to find where the other tracker is, and then it's in the morgue. It's like we all know what's going to happen, and then it's like, oh, it's a tracker next to a dead body. I wonder who that is.
A dead body.
The whole
that
thing's
breathing,
cringy.
by the way. Like when you
Yes.
first see it, you can see it, and I'm like, oh, right, okay, he's going to be like smiling when she pulls it back.
Yeah, but just that whole scene always annoys me because one, somebody like obviously they tried to fake his death, but people would have known that he was fake. So surely they could just put him in a room so that he could have just sat and watched the monitor. Why did they put him in an ice cold morgue?
I thought of that
with the tracking device next to him. It just every single time it annoys the hell out of me.
Oh, I see you like lying underneath the sheet going, oh shit, somebody's coming. I can't look at the tracker.
Yeah, shit, back to bed.
Or I don't know, or the medic wasn't clued in and was so bad at his job, hadn't realised he wasn't.
I thought
dead.
that. I was like, with the medics clued in, they're like feeling it. Shit, I can't feel a pulse. I was like, that's because you're holding the wrong part of the arm.
They took the tracking device in. They don't have tracking devices sitting in the morgue.
That's it's a strange place to keep it, I suppose. Yeah.
But every time that scene it's cringy for me. It just annoys me.
It leads perfectly onto my next point because this bugs me in all films that it happens in. Do you know when people have got a scanner and they tip it down so the camera can see what they're looking at, but they're like, shit, I can't see it now, and they lean over. So they keep walking along, going, oh shit, I need to tip it so the camera can see what I'm looking at. But it just it's another thing that just grinds my gears in films. Like, I don't care what you're looking at, just fucking do it as if you're actually doing it. Sorry.
Okay. Speaking of grinding,
I'll calm. I
don't have a massive Street Fighter history here, but 2 points that run together here. Number one, is Charlie a common nickname for Carlos's? Like, I feel like it must be, but I feel like Carlos. It's pretty much changing. Carlos and Charlie are pretty much the same. Like, you're not saving any.
It's a big leap if that's where you're going. It's a big leap.
Also, it's like if it is, then I feel like it's been really bad luck, and also Guile really dropped Carlos in it. We're coming for you, Charlie. Probably seeing that he's standing next to him. Like, oh, you're really important. I'm going to do something special with you. Or, like you say, it's a massive leap for him to work out.
Yeah, if he kept his mouth shut, Bison would have nothing. He goes like, you're making a point of speaking to him. I'm going to fuck you up now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it singles out his best mate. And speaking of singling out someone, Blanca is my guy in Street Fighter. This film does him so dirty. For 3/4 of the film, it's like muscle mass increase to this, muscle mass increase to that, and it cuts to all of a sudden he's just got this bright orange wig on. It looks terrible. Like, it's quite clearly a wig. I don't know. Like, the local pound shop must have been selling that, and then he is just exactly the same amount of skinny as he was.
He's got green.
He's got his turn.
That was one of my point as well. I was like, he looks like Lou Ferrigno from the Hulk.
It does.
You got a little Bruce Banner, he just becomes Lou Ferrigno, just slightly taller.
But the thing is, Lou Ferrigno's bigger than him, I think.
Yes.
He's just a guy. Like, they didn't even go small guy in, bring a pro wrestler or someone out. It's just the same guy who is not massive at all. So yeah, I feel like this probably ruined Blanca for a lot of video game players throughout the 90s.
Yeah.
He was terrible in that film. I can't be seen to have him. So they ruined Blanca.
Somebody had to get ruined though. It's always one character. It's just like not do justice.
Well, they were in two in this, Guile and Blanco.
I suppose.
Yeah, but Guile was shy. I never liked him.
A couple of
one final one. At the end fight between Bison and Guile, Guile's a cheating bastard. He keeps button mashing and doing that same move over and over again.
Aye.
How is Bison supposed to get a move in anyway?
Flip.
Yep. It was cheating bastard.
But that's actually pretty good for a video game nerd. It is like that's what people do.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Bison having the controls on his console are that is amazing. Like that, it got a point I think for having that. That's amazing.
Because that's exactly what you would be playing. Just fucking button mashing mines. Go.
Yeah. Speaking of kicks, though, one of my low points is one of the fights towards the end. Cammy is in a fight, and she just goes thrust kick as she does.
Yeah.
And why are you saying the move you're doing? Like, who are you commentating for?
I think she was the only one I didn't get the memo of we're not actually going to say our moves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But and my final low point is M. Bison, under no circumstances, should be giving out his PIN number to DJ. Like, that was his major. Like, he says, "Has the money gone in my account yet?" And DJ could just beep and say, so he's definitely giving his PIN number out there. Any final low points?
No, I've got a quick riddle for you.
Oh god.
How many goons does it take to pass a gun? 3 apparently.
Yeah.
Like Vega picks up the gun, pass it to Zangief, who passes it to Sagat, who then passes it to Bison. Why can't Vega just go, here you go, pal, here's a gun?
Yeah, okay.
I thought Chris was going to do one of the jokes, like how many Bison things does it take to change a light bulb?
Well, I don't know.
Did you guys never watch the end credits?
No.
Possibly not, actually. It was an end credits.
Oh, so you didn't even see the end? Like, this is like 1994 post-end credit scene.
No, not really making through, but I don't know why I didn't finish it, actually.
All right, so I've got to tell you the post-end credit scene.
You
So
do?
this was
Yeah,
added for... Right, this was added for home video. So when the credits are rolling, the guy that does the stupid jokes for Shadaloo City, he's doing more jokes throughout. And in the very end scene, it kind of cuts to this little computer, and then it's like got all these like things, and it's like going down, selecting settings, and then it's got like end game settings, and then he clicks it, and then you just see Bison's hand come back out of the rubble.
Not aware of
Bison's
that.
still alive.
I better change my stats. I did not know
So
this.
yeah, I do highly recommend it. It's one of the first post-end credit scenes I ever saw.
Right.
Well, there you go. I never do it until... I've only started doing it after Marvel films.
Nope.
I'm gonna have to go back.
1994 post-end credit scene.
I don't know what happened.
Bison's still alive.
Normally I'm still doing my notes, so I just let it run in the background. I don't know what stopped me. That's weird.
There you go.
Oh,
So yeah,
amazing.
Bison's still alive.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Right, we're gonna rattle on.
But move on to the stats now, then, now that we know that's happened. On to the stats. I've kept track of the usual ones, a couple of extra ones, but didn't go too successfully. Number of shits in the film, there was one and one only, and I believe it was all Jean-Claude Van Damme. He got to say it. Not a lot of swearing throughout, no F-bombs whatsoever. At one point, Kylie Minogue did shout, "No, you can't," which I did mishear. But yeah, not much in the way of swearing. Explosions. 54. It's been high for a while. I've not had much no explosions. They were kind of condensed into a few sections of the film. 54 deaths. Now that I know that M. Bison survived, 19. Also, that's another thing. He's M. Bison. Do we ever know what the M is at any point? I feel like he's always M. Bison.
Is it not said at the start?
I don't think so. He's always just General M. Bison.
I don't even know when I played the game, so there you go.
Because apparently E. Honda is what he is in the games, but he's just Honda and it's referred to as Honda. But yeah. M. Bison. So all across my notes, I've got M. Bison, M. Bison, M. Bison everywhere because they kept saying it. Anyway, back to the stats. Fights. There were 15 fights. Yeah. I went 15. Anytime someone attacks someone, that's not a fight. It has to be like an actual fight. So I went 15. I tried to kind of separate them at the end. In one way, that's one big fight. So I went fight. And then
I carried hand to hand between actual game characters.
Right, okay.
So I got 7 between the characters.
There we go. So there was a couple of goon fights, I think, in there as well. And I also kept track. This film's called Street Fighter. How many street fights were there? There were none. Not one fight happened on a street at any point in this film. There was one kind of in the sort of prison where they fought outside the van. But that's in prison. I don't know if it's on the street necessarily. But yeah, that's where I got to. The 10-point podcast quotas. Dead animal. Not that I could see anywhere. I didn't notice a dead animal anywhere.
There was a few chickens about. I don't know if any of them got killed when the thing was going away.
Yeah, maybe exploded at some point. Yeah, maybe run over by the truck. Yeah. Anyone peeing or pooing at any point? Not whatsoever. They couldn't see anyone. And I think for the first time in a while, no strongly hinted at paedophiles in the film. I think we got away with no one.
I think we're good.
Yeah,
I think we're pedo clear.
I think we might be. This is a good one. Although I don't know. I don't want to cast aspersions. Sagat, he's into some weird stuff, so I think
he's just a good runner.
He might have done. And did they say the thing? Did they say Street Fighter in this film?
No.
They did, technically. The scene is behind Andy for the YouTube viewers. When they walk into that fight club sort of scene where Vega's fighting, there's a song playing in the background. And it does say the words quite clearly Street Fighter in the song, and then starts talking about being ready to rumble as well.
I had that CD. I bought it in Virgin Records at the in Dumfries at the Lawburn Centre.
At the Lawburn Centre, amazing. So yeah, technically they say Street Fighter in the song, but no one actually speaks it as a line. But yeah, and that is it. Chris, any other stats from you? Just your characters?
Well, it says there was a Wilhelm scream, but it didn't sound like a Wilhelm scream.
Very early on.
Yeah. It's when the guy gets thrown into the pit.
I didn't count it because it didn't sound like a proper one. My other one was, I was going to count. Do you know how in the game you had to like smash a car and break a wall and stuff like that. So I was going to look for that, and there was a wall break, and there was fighting, like for Street Fighter, but there was no car smashing, unfortunately.
No car.
So that was my stats.
Not bad. Andy, do you have a most pornographic scene from the film?
Oh,
Yes.
Yes, I think I know. I'm thinking the same one as you here.
It's pretty much Ming-Na Wen.
Yes.
I've gone straight down. When she gets that costume on, holy
Yes.
shit.
It
It's
would
like
have
she
made it
just
even
brought
better if it was
added-
blue instead of red. I would have preferred the blue one.
Yeah, but Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, that is her outfit, so.
It's always blue.
But yeah, her in that
Aye.
outfit. Oof. Like,
Yeah.
actual proper pornographic moment that time.
No food or
But,
satisfying.
No, food-wise, Bison did get me a little bit when he wanted the food court to be bigger.
Yeah. All the contractors are going to want in, yeah.
Bison's my man, he's got the priorities right. I'm okay with his dystopian future. I'm alright with it.
Not too much to argue with about it.
It looks quite cool as well with the skull and stuff.
Like Sinopolis. Yeah, exactly. I'd like that to be my town logo, whatever you want to call it. Better crack on then. It's the halfway point of the podcast, technically. So it's a half-time quiz. I have got a little quiz written down here. I don't have a scoreboard.
I'll suck at this.
I feel I'm trying to think. Andy's the expert here, so do we want him to go first or do we want him to go second? I don't
Go
know.
first. I think I went first last week.
Right, so Andy, I'll give you the first set of questions. So, question one for Andy. Some of these are very easy, some of these are not so easy. What nationality is Cammy?
She's American.
She is
British.
not. She is British. And that's
Is
kind
she?
of an old attempt at a British accent through it. Yes, her little
Yeah.
patch is a
Oh, I
Union
thought it was
Jack.
American.
I'm confused. Why didn't you just do Jean-Claude as Belgian? He doesn't
That's
have
exactly
to
what I was
be
going to
American.
say. Guile's a big American character, isn't he? Like, he has the
Yeah.
American tattoo,
Yeah.
which is
Oh,
one.
but he purposely shows off every time he
Yeah.
uppercuts somebody.
He either make Jean-Claude Van Damme a Belgian guy or cast a different person to be an
Yeah, I
American.
know.
It's like, I like how, yeah, Kylie Minogue has to affect an English accent to be British, but Jean-Claude Van Damme can just do what he likes. like, you're American, most definitely American. Anyway, on to Chris's question. Sagat says that Vega is his greatest champion since whom? Who was the last?
Iron Fist, which was him.
Correct on both
God
counts.
damn it, Chris.
Back to Andy. What is Guile's first name? His Christian name, if you wish.
Ah, shit.
It
I
is
forgot.
said a few times and also printed on his boat.
I know, and I completely fucking forgot. Oh, pass.
Is it not your middle name, William?
It is in fact William, yes.
Ah,
Unlucky there. There were a couple of easy ones, Andy, unfortunately.
shut
so
up.
we'll see
It's
if
hard.
it's-
I don't do easy.
Chris, Honda has a guidebook in his van. It's titled.
I made a note of this.
Okay, its title is Shadaloo on blank a day. Can you fill in the blank?
$25 a day.
It's $25.
Fucking
I made a note for that. It's right there as well.
I'm drugged. I can't win. It's over.
Yeah, well, it's 5 questions each, so you need to get this one, I think, Andy, or we could be scuppered. What would the exchange rate be of a Bison dollar to the British
£5.
pound? £5 to a Bison dollar, correct. That's what it would have been, but it did not get that far. Chris, Sagat wears an eye patch. Which one of his eyes does it cover?
His left.
His left is indeed the correct answer.
And it's right in the game.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Ah.
It's harder to see because the other guy couldn't actually see his other eye, so that's why they had to change it.
Alright.
Oh, I like that. I'm glad I had that as a question. That's really good. Right, next question. I think Andy needs this one. Yeah, you need to answer this right, Andy. What name do Chun-Li, Honda, and Balrog call themselves for their magic show?
The Three Amigos.
It is not the Three Amigos. They call themselves
Bell something.
the Ben Belly Brothers.
Oh, Ben
Ah.
I believe it is
That
a
was a fucking hard one. I wouldn't have got that one.
a reference to an old magic show from way back in the day. We'll fly through this list of questions. Andy can't win now. So, Chris, on what day did M. Bison's forces terrorize Chun-Li's family?
Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday.
Damn it.
Oh, I
All
thought you
these-
sounds specific.
I don't know.
It was a
It was just a
Tuesday.
Tuesday. It was just a Tuesday. Andy, what does M. Bison say when he has blown up Guile's boat? Very excitedly.
Game over.
He does say game over. Very good. And Chris, with a clean sweep, all 5 right. Can you name me 2 things that were on the good tape that Blanca was forced to watch? Any 2 of the things that were on this tape?
Children running and a wedding.
Correct. I have a wedding a dolphin, Martin Luther King, a parent and a child, some people dancing, and Einstein. They are the good things in the world. I'll give you children running because there was a kid running in it. So yeah, Chris got 5 in that one. Very good, Chris.
Fucking hell.
I tell you what, I literally, if it wasn't for the fact I made a note of seeing that book, I was like, Bruce is going to ask that.
Chris has definitely got my kind of methods down here. Yeah. Very good. That was a very successful quiz. We better crack on though. On to point 6, movies within movies. I've kept track of the parodies and references. Good Morning Vietnam, very early on when the guy shouting Good Morning Shadaloo. I've got Austin Powers, as I said earlier. The Wizard of Oz, because they shouted M. Bison to come out from behind the curtain at one point. Godzilla was very on the nose. And then Return of the Jedi was the, I'll shoot you with electric. It made me think of Return of the Jedi. And my never not good things in this film that are never not good when they appear. Scale models. They're always amazing. Scale models. Always. Never not good. Chris, what have you got?
Quickly, Jean-Claude Van Damme made a small cameo as himself in our unaired pilot episode of Last Action Hero.
He did.
And I almost missed it, but Zangief was in Batman Returns as Chip.
It is the best one. The best crossover one we've ever had is the...
I only did like the characters and I was like, surely, I can't remember him being in anything, so I almost skipped him and came back to him. But he was the only one that was...
obliterated him for his performance in Batman Returns, thinking he would never ever show up in a film again, and here he is in this one here. Technically, there's one more that you missed, Chris, and this is a massive crossover one for us. Now, I'm only going on one app that does movies that's giving me this information, and you can tell by the roles this person played. Someone called TJ Storm was in this film. He played the role of Man in this film. So
he's a guy. He was right at the very end of the credit list, didn't he? On IMDb, and I never looked at him because he just called Man.
Well, he was Man in this. He played guest fighter in the Mortal Kombat movie in 1995.
Yeah.
So he is the one crossover
Oh, the guy at the start.
I
don't know who you mean. Fuck.
But yeah. One guy was in these two great, I don't know, pillars of Template podcast. But yeah, I thought Andrew Brarninski being both Zangief and Chip Shrek, I thought is an amazing crossover.
As for us, I tried to do something different. I tried to picture us as who I thought might be your favourite characters. So as I played it, I liked Guile because I liked the fact that he could do upside down like kicks and stuff, and I thought he was cool, but he was actually shit. I thought Andy would be Honda until I looked at the background and maybe he might be Vega actually. Like your favourite character was. And until you said about Blanca, I was going to say Bruce is more Bison. I thought you might like the Bison guy.
I feel like he would. I don't know. Is he unlocked from the beginning, Bison? I'm not sure.
No, I don't think he can.
I don't think he could just pick up and place him. I probably would have done had it been an option, but yeah, Blanca. I went down a different route where I just feel like our relationship is kind of Andy is Sagat, Chris is Ken, and I'm Rau. Kind of suits us.
I didn't go the obvious of making Andy Bison and me and you like Guile.
I always get the evil ones.
Yeah, I feel like
he's such a nice guy.
You, Chris, being kind of, I don't know.
I tried to go different this time, but who was your favourite character?
I always played as Ken.
Oh, it's fucking miles off there, my Honda.
See the one that has that old Hadouken thing, is it?
Him and both Ken and Ryu have the same moves. One's white, one's red.
Right, okay. That explains it.
But yeah.
And Andy, recasting.
Right, this one's a funny one because I've decided if I could take one character completely out and put the other character in, would it affect the film in any way? And it is, you take Ming-Na Wen out and you put Ming-Na Wen back in as the cavalry from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and she'd be the same character.
Yeah, she would pretty much be the same, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely no different.
No different. She'd probably be, no, she'd be the same. Less friendly, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, nailed it. Can't beat that. On to point 7, sticking with Andy. Andy's trigger warning. Alert, this is Andy's trigger warning, all who are listening and watching.
Right, this one's a proper hot topic at the moment. Oh. However, Bison, right? He's just trying to take over, like, make things better and stuff like that. And all these people are trying to stop him. Now, even the military, right, got orders not to go. And Guile just went, nah, fuck this, I'm going. He completely did that. So my kind of question is, should the US pull out of Afghanistan?
I mean, yeah.
Or should some of the US just stay there? Could Afghanistan become the next Bison Topolis? I don't know.
It could be. We could be M. Bison could be the one in Afghanistan giving the press conferences on behalf of the Taliban as we speak. Here, but, no.
Because, right, I'm not trying to big up the Taliban here, right, in any shape or form.
Good.
However, how fucking good are they at taking over an entire country in like 4 weeks?
Yeah, boom, done. Yeah.
Like, they should be on the coronavirus like research team because they would have that shit sorted.
I don't know. We don't get the numbers out of Afghanistan. They might be.
Well, that's
clear.
true.
Taliban might have
Like,
already cured it.
Yeah.
But, so to take away from that, I'm just thinking, right? Would a dictator be the right thing? Because I'm thinking, it's got perks. I'd be okay with Bison.
What is he doing wrong? Like, at what point is he being evil in this film? Like,
Exactly.
he has a massive.
People, basically.
Yeah, but he's holding them to ransom. All he wants is just the money. Like,
He did kill 2 people just like that. Snapped their necks instantly.
Yeah, but they probably deserved it.
But they're not the ones that he'd like. They were
challenged him to a fight.
Yeah, they were enemy soldiers, weren't they? So,
Yeah.
Like
they're Guile's troops. They're the same uniform.
So,
to be fair, I'd probably rather die than work under Guile.
Exactly. I would much rather work for Bison than Guile because it seems like if you work for Guile, you're probably going to die, and Jean-Claude Van Damme seems like a bit of a dick. Bison seems to pay well. And like DJ just run off.
Well, yeah. Zangief didn't get paid well. When it comes to the end of the film, Jean-Claude Van Damme has defied direct orders from not just like his armed forces, but like the world's armed forces.
Yep.
Is he just going to be court-martialed and arrested? Like, is he in the wrong here? Because he went and did something he wasn't supposed to.
He is, but he'll be branded a hero because it worked.
You reckon? I reckon there'll be someone from the Bison law team will be like trying to get him. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, now that he's still alive, he can come back and sue him because he came in here and attacked me for no reason.
Exactly. Yeah. He was told not to.
So yeah, to round off my trigger warning, if you're an American soldier, listen to this in Afghanistan. Maybe just stay out there. Don't listen to the orders. Help a friend. There you go.
I wasn't sure Randy was going to go with this. Andy's definitely gone the correct direction, but had a wee, not guess so much, but I thought I'd maybe just mention it in the trigger warning section. Again, this is my own trigger warning. This is 1994. This is less my trigger back then. Is there a suggestion that Sagat and Vega are a gay couple in this film?
That prison when he's standing behind them going, yeah.
Because there's like one scene early on where the 2 of them are sitting together, and I'm like, are they meant to be looking like? And then when in the prison, I'm like, he's definitely like, he's looking after him in prison.
But I like the thing he would offer in Honda handy as well after 2 weeks. That's a true friend.
That's just the best line in the film. Yeah.
I forgot about that bit.
Yeah.
It's a true friend right there.
Yeah, it's a great line. Right, we better crack on and get through the rest of the podcast. Point 8, the nominations for the 10 Point Podcast Awards at the end of the season. I have quite a lot, so I'll lead off with mine now. Best acting, Raul Julia, of course. Worst acting, Jean-Claude Van Damme is hideously bad, so it has to be him.
Yep.
Best costume, M. Bison's costume. Pick one.
Oh, yeah.
Any of them are all the best costumes.
You know it's a good costume when it's like right at the very first, when the opening credits.
I was literally going to say that. You make a point of note if it's saying M. Bison was created by this person. So this is going to be good.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like you guys might have Chun-Li slightly behind, if not ahead, but I'm going M. Bison as my nomination. Best fight. Because of my Godzilla tendencies, I'm going Zangief versus Godzilla. I thought that was probably not literally the best fight, but it's the one I enjoyed the most. I'll go for that one. Worst accent is definitely a category we've done before. Does Jean-Claude Van Damme count? Because is he even doing an American accent? So, I'll float it out there. We'll see what happens. I'll nominate him. Worst sets. The lab is especially rickety. Like when he's not doing stuff, the walls are shaking. At one point, the doctor sits down at the console, and the whole console wobbles back and all that stuff. So that's definitely getting the worst set.
I haven't noticed that.
I've got best hair written down here because I was definitely at one point thinking Ryu has amazing hair. But then, I don't know, Cammy, when she finally lets the pigtails out, is an amazing. She used that.
No. You're going
Chun-Li, exactly. That scene.
Even you. I went for Vega. His hair's glorious.
Okay, yeah. So I left it blank. I couldn't decide myself. So yeah, most of the hair could be best hair.
Although Chun-Li, I suppose, when she gets the the Leia thing like she does in the game.
Yeah.
I suppose it is good, but no, Vega's is glorious through the whole film.
Right, okay, Vega, good shout. Right, I might go with that. Worst hair / costume is Blanca, of course. Oh, God's sake. And then on to the big ones that we do. Best inanimate object, M. Bison's floating platform. Michael Pena Award, Chun-Li and Bison in the scene about it being Tuesday. Best bell end, M. Bison, amazing. Good at being a bell end. And then the worst plan, which I can't believe I'm not discussed anymore, the stealth boat.
Oh yeah.
Which is, our plan is we will hide our boat so no one can see it, despite the fact that it's on the water. And what we're going to do is blow up stuff gradually as we go towards space, so they also see us coming from that aspect as well. Terrible plan.
Yeah.
And that's it. A lot of nominations, so I don't know if anyone's got any others they want to pick out.
So I've got same worst actor, same best actor, best hair as Vega. My best plan, Andy will agree with this one, is Bison making a food court in Bisonopolis bigger.
Yep. That's winning best plan at the ponies. There cannot be a better plan. Always a bigger food court.
Same best costume. My best line is Zangief's quick change of channel. And my worst twist is Guile's not dead.
I thought about that, and in the film, I'm not even sure it's meant to be a twist in the film. Like it's so obvious, but yeah, I would agree with it if it's meant to be a twist. Andy, any nominations?
I don't think you covered them all. I want to put Ming-Na Wen in somewhere because she was pretty good, but I don't.
Who was best actress then?
Best actress, best supporting.
Yeah. Fun fact: she went back to the set of ER and told George Clooney that her career was over after seeing this film. How she was wrong. Also, another thing, I should have put this on a trigger warning. Okay. Now, I know it's genetics. She looks way older in this than she does now. It's mental. If you look at Ming-Na Wen now,
I think she's identical now as she was 20, 30 years ago, I think. Yeah.
It doesn't crack.
She doesn't crack. No, she doesn't. We'll leave it there. I feel like Andy hasn't got any big nominations that you're sitting on. We did cover a lot there. Better go on to the moral of the story. What lessons we thought were learned from the film? Let's start with Andy then, since we stole all your awards nominations.
Don't buy guns from people you don't know.
I've gone for people don't like it when you try to build utopia. That's what I've got written. That's all they wanted to do, is just build a nice place, but people don't want that. And Chris?
Mine says don't do cocaine because it fucks up your career. It makes you a bad actor.
That's a good lesson. On to the 10-point rating.
Before let's go back to cocaine. I tell you one thing that cocaine did. It gave him a hell of a run up out of that little pod to do a flying kick with some spikes and everything like that.
Yeah. My God, yeah.
that stuff, fucking hell, he was so fast.
I didn't know he was acting any, but physically, yeah. The 10-point rating then. What we rate this film out of 10? Andy, you selected it, so why don't you give us it first?
As I said in the opening, this film's got it all. It's got good bits, it's got shit bits, it's got amazing sets, it's got shit sets, it's got great actors, it's got not so great actors. It's all over the shop. However, every time I put this on, there's something else I see. There's so much going on. I enjoy it, so it gets a 6.
6 from Andy, which is a pretty high score for him. Chris, I guess that you had seen some percentage of it, so you're next on your rating.
That's it. But I think it's complete and utter shit, and it's lucky to get a 2.
Oh, God's sake.
Done.
How?
Oh, yeah. Chris's review.
One star.
Me last. I somehow enjoyed this film. I had a lot of fun. Let's say Van Damme is terrible and drags his quarter of the film down. So therefore, like a 7 is as high as I can go because of that. But that's not my rating, because Blanca is ruined, so it comes down a point at least for that as well. So I settled a bit of 5 because I enjoyed it. It is not good. There's problems with it. There's plot holes like was selected, and there's bad performances outside of Jean-Claude Van Damme. But
and Bison brings it up.
Yeah, he's amazing in it, and there's bits and pieces and I don't know, homages to the characters and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a 5. I think if I watched it again, it might get better if I kind of start to love it a bit more than rather than seeing it.
Especially if you watch the end credits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What did you not vote Mortal Kombat then? Because do you think this is better than Mortal Kombat?
I think I do. So that gives it a 4 as our official rating for it, if my maths are good.
Chris's face, he's disgusted.
So it goes...
This is ridiculous.
Andy 6, me 5, Chris 2, and Mortal Kombat was Andy 6, me 3, Chris 5. So we've kind of flipped
Yeah.
it, essentially. So I think
Mortal Kombat is 10
better.
times better than this.
I don't know. It's up. It's 50-50 for me, and like my score shows it 6.
So me, I go Mortal Kombat, then Street Fighter, and then the new Mortal Kombat, which is way better, I would say.
Yeah.
It's the best movie fighting game thing.
He's so
But yeah,
disgusted.
I am. I'm fucking disgusted. I'm furious.
I don't think this is as bad. It's another one I don't think it's as bad as people make out. There's problems, and it's not great.
Literally, Raul Julia and Ming-Na Wen saved this film.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for them, it would be getting fucking 0, whether you like it or not.
But I enjoyed my time. There are times where we argue, and I know Andy hates it when the Coen brothers make him hate living. There are some films where we despise, but I feel like I had an enjoyable time watching this film.
Never watching this again.
Good, because it'll carry on with my theme.
That's good. There we go. A couple of guesses of what his theme is. Good transition there. Chris, you said you thought you had an idea.
Well, I was going to put Coke heads. And now you said
it could be the theme, but I'm not sure. It's not what I'm going for.
No, it's themes that have been universally panned, but are actually better than what they are.
No, because you completely disproven that, because you fucking hate this film.
Oh yeah, but that's why you're picking them.
Ah, okay.
No, not the theme.
There's not films that average below a 3 on IMDb or something. I had video game movies. You said it's not that. It's not transition.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
It's not video games.
So my last one is I did this last season as well. Is it mutants?
It's not mutants.
Because Blanca, it's a mutant in this.
It is not mutants this season.
Not this, because I think beginning of last season, I guess whatever it was you had the season before, because that film also fit in. So yeah, that was my only guess outside of that. So I think on one movie we don't know what Andy's theme is. Next time it is not back to Chris again, because it's a viewer pick time. Yay! And
Yay!
hopefully we're going to get to see the wheel of. I can't remember the name of this wheel. The wheel of movies or something like that is going to come up here, and we'll find out together.
Right, are you ready?
I am ready.
Right.
People's pick wheel.
You guys should be seeing this wheel.
I will let you know when I see it.
Can you see the wheel?
Quite, but it's coming, I think. And yes, I can now see said wheel.
Oh, holy crap! There's loads.
Here we go. Let's spin the wheel.
What's next?
We're spinning.
Automatic.
Oh, it's slowing. It's slowing. Oh. Ready or not?
Ready or not?
I don't even know what this is.
Off the top of my head, I have no idea. Yeah, let's have a quick look.
Is ready or not?
I don't know. Is this one of the ones that my picks?
Do we have a name on who picked it next to it anywhere?
I can find that name shortly, potentially.
Next thing, ready or not? I know it's a Fuji song. Is it that? Ready or not?
Spin the wheel again.
Well, I found 4 films. 5. A lot of films called Ready or Not.
Oh, yeah, we never thought about this, did we?
Nope, we did not. This is what happens when we do live spins.
It's not like the Danish one, or whatever it is I can see here.
Ready or not?
If you find out
it could be.
who it was,
it could be the 2019 one. Could be what it is.
Was it one of who's picked Ready or Not? It was Rachel's pick, so that's one of Chris's friends.
Would it be a film from 2019 starring Samara Weaving, Adam Brody, and Andy McDowell? Would that be it?
We should just do that one.
Maybe, yeah.
Let's do that one.
I recognise the poster on my phone here, so it looks kind of. I've gone kind of like that. Ready or not? That's the one we're going to do. We'll do that one. That was the top one that came up when I typed it on my app.
Okay.
So Ready or Not 2019. Let's see if IMDb. That's the top one on IMDb as well when you type in Ready or Not.
We'll go for that. That's how the random generator brings us.
Ready or not?
Never thought about this, did we? Actually, if there's more than one film.
Let's see.
Dates on people's picks.
Yeah, in terms of genre, if this ever loads on my phone, action, comedy, horror, mystery, thriller. So a lot going on there. So everyone has seven days to find that.
Oh yeah, that's the wedding one. Okay, yeah, I remember now.
There's Jessica Bride in it. 7 days. Find yourself Ready or Not 2019. And we'll catch you next time on the 10 Point Podcast.